Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. We will hear more about them later.
Welcome to this video, welcome to this channel. We haven't done a sit down chat in a while. I miss you guys. Sorry, let me get my framing just right. Hi! Here we are. I can't believe we are making this video right now. If you remember, if you've been with me long enough to know this cup, Evan, who did my Earth to Us podcast with me, she gave me this cup years ago and I still drink from it all the time. We're all struggling a little bit today. Just like toddler had us up in the middle of the night for many hours. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, here we are making a video about my husband. You may have seen my soft announcement that Eric is now vegan / plant-based. And it's kind of funny when I actually literally dreamed about making this video back in the day. And it's so funny that we're here now, you know, when you're like really looking forward to something and then it's here and you're just like, huh, that's interesting. If you are new to my channel and you clicked on this video because you're like, I want to make my husband plant-based or make my husband vegan or change my husband's mind, or maybe not husband, partner. You know, it could be anyone in the partnership. Hi, my name's Hannah and this is my channel and I do a lot of like mostly lifestyle content. But I mostly talk about, you know, veganism as well as whatever I want to talk about because this is my channel. Let me back up, give you like just a little bit of backstory. I've been plant-based vegan since 2006. When I was 18, I went vegan. I went raw vegan just because that's all I really understood, but I wasn't fully raw and it was just like this big up and down journey for 6 years. Constant, like didn't understand my cravings, didn't understand how to transition, didn't understand anything about nutrition. And I was really just doing it for my health and to feel my best because even at 18 I was not feeling very good and I had severe digestive issues. A lot of people in my life probably didn't even realize how bad my digestive issues are, but you know, it's kind of like an embarrassing thing to go through, so I didn't really talk about it. And anyway, long story short, it wasn't until I was about 22 when everything really stuck and everything clicked for me, and then it wasn't until I was 25 for it to become an ethical decision for my life, and it wasn't just about health because my eyes were really opened up to the industry and it was something I didn't want to take part in anymore, and it just feels so good not to take part in a cruel industry and especially if we don't need animal products to thrive, then why would I take part in the violence? I got married when I was 24, meaning it became like a more serious, the whole vegan decision became a more serious decision for my life, extending out into like life philosophy and ethics after I was already married. So that does like, you can probably understand why that feels like more complicated, and I think that's really common for a lot of people. They get married or, you know, they're in a long-term relationship and suddenly they're like, I'm vegan, and their partner's like, okay, and they have to deal with that. I've made several videos in the past all about, you know, living with a non-vegan partner and what that is like and how you can how you can deal with it because it's super common, but it's uncommon to have like a vegan influencer, someone online who is in a relationship with a non-vegan. Like you typically, it's like a package, like we're a vegan family, our vegan partner, which is wonderful and I love all of that online, but it was so nice to be able to like serve that role for a minute, you know, like to show people like, look, you can be a successful, thriving vegan even if your husband is anti. Not that Eric was necessarily anti. He was kind of just didn't care. He's like, I just don't want to do that. That's great for you. But it caused a lot of friction for us in the beginning because I was a hot-headed, angry vegan whose eyes had been unveiled. Let me tell you the story of Eric announcing to me that he is now plant-based. My sister was in town with her family and they have a whole vegan family. Anyway, they were in town visiting Idaho and we were just having a blast together and we went up to the mountains and they took a separate car and Eric and I were in the car together with our kids and we're driving up to the mountains and he said, oh, by the way, I have something to tell you. But I was like in the middle of a sentence. I was like, well, let me finish my thought, because I don't remember what I was talking about. I was telling him a story or something, and he's like, okay, but you're really gonna like it. you're gonna love it. It's huge. And I was like, okay, well, let me finish my sentence, because he had interrupted me. And so I finished my story, whatever I was saying, and he was like, I'm like, okay, tell me what you were gonna tell me. He's like, well, I told Elvis and Sandy, our nephews, last night that I'm plant-based. And I was like, oh, okay. And it's so strange that that was my reaction, because of course I have been wanting him to go vegan, hashtag go vegan, you know, for years. It was like something I had thought about for so long. It was something I had pined over for a long time. But my reaction in that moment was, it was like an observation, like, that's interesting, rather than a rejoice, like, we got him on our side, he's finally seen the light, like, our marriage will finally be better and we're more connected because now he's, no, like, none of that. It was just an observation, like, that's interesting, good for you. Because I have done so much work to fully let him be him, and to just work on my own journey and not be concerned with where he's at. I have learned that the absolute best thing you could possibly do is just let go and only act out of love, and see them for all the qualities that you absolutely love about them, and don't try to change them. Yeah, because it doesn't work. No one wants to be told what to do, especially by our loved ones. The only way someone could possibly change their conviction on such a huge thing like eating animals or anything else, you know, religion or whatever it is, politics, is if it comes from another source, it comes from within, it's their own conviction. And it's really hard for us to understand, because we're like, how do they not see things the way I see it? So he told me that, back to the story, he told me that, and I was like, okay, huh. And it was just kind of like, he's like, yeah, so huge, right? And I'm like, I guess. But the truth is that the journey had been so gradual. Like, we've been married 11 years now. It'll be 11 years in a couple months. And in the beginning, it was like, I am not vegan, I am vegan, we eat differently. And then it was like, ugh, this is Eric, okay, this is me. I don't want to make my own food. I'm not gonna make separate dinner every night. I'll just eat what you're eating. Sounds good to me. But I'm over here like kind of learning how to make good food, because I didn't really know how to make good vegan food. I didn't really know how to cook. And I'm just like learning, and he's like, tolerating. We find some recipes, we like, okay, that's pretty good. All right, now I'm gonna go to work now, bye babe. And then he goes off to work, and then he every day at lunch is going out and eating his non-vegan food, and then coming home and eating vegan food with me. And then, oh, there we go, COVID, pandemic, we're at home, and he's like eating at home, not going out, thank God, because we saved so much money that way. And then he's just kind of like naturally eating vegan food. Our house has been pretty much vegan like the whole time, and then went back to the office, then came back home, then we moved to Idaho. Now he's fully at home, so we're just eating vegan all the time. So it felt sort of like a default and not a choice. But then over the years, he started to make his own choice to eat vegan, even if he had the option to eat non-vegan. That is definitely that's a difference, right? When he's making his own choice, it's not just like eating my food out of laziness. That definitely influences why I didn't have this big rejoice, reaction, is because it has been this gradual thing where he's already been like choosing to eat plant-based like slowly, and then he said something just sort of in his head. He just kind of wanted to make that statement, and which is an interesting thing, people, because I believe having the vegan label is actually very important, and I think it's helpful. I don't think it's important. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a vegan label or not. Like, you do what you want to do. I think it's helpful for us on our own journeys, because we are humans, and humans really like definition, and we actually really love boundaries. Some people like, I don't like the label. That's a whole other conversation altogether. and I can understand why someone like doesn't want to be boxed in, but the truth is that like we do better, we thrive in some boundaries. And saying like vegan is my boundary is cool, and plant-based kind of gives you this like kind of loose boundary, because Eric really has only been eating like non-vegan food maybe once a month. And it's not like he has to have it once a month, it's just sort of maybe a convenience thing or something. And he regrets it. He's like, ugh, I felt it the next day. Not regret, but like he's like, I felt it the next day, or I felt it that night, or whatever. So then the question is, how did I make my husband vegan? Well, obviously, I hope you understand, if you've gotten this far in the video, that I did not make my husband vegan. It is not my responsibility to make anyone vegan. It's not my responsibility even to make my family members vegan. And I hope that I have conveyed that message in all these videos that I've made about this topic, that you cannot make anyone vegan. You can't make anyone your religion or your politics or like whatever like sort of conviction you have or life philosophy you have. Like you can't even convince someone to exercise more. Like you can't change anyone's life in that way. It's not your responsibility, and it's not easy. It's not doable. It doesn't make sense. Like everything has to be from our own convictions. What else was at play in our relationship? The first year of, you know, my newfound sort of ethical conviction in veganism was strained. We had a difficult relationship. Like when you really dig underneath, like there was tension, and it wasn't peaceful because of that conflict. But moving forward, as I began to like truly, fully, 100% let go, not like a fake let go, although I do think there's a fake until you make it sort of component, truly let go and just watch my husband do his own thing and be genuinely supportive of his life decisions, because I married someone who is good. I married someone who has integrity and character, and I made that choice for my life, and that is going to ripple into other things. What I mean by that is, it's not a surprise to me that he has come around to this, for me, I believe, very logical way of thinking, because he has integrity and he's intelligent and has character, you know what I'm saying? Yes, it took him a long time, but it takes Eric a long time to do everything, and that is him. And it's great, and we love that about him, that he is careful and he takes his time. Stubborn, yes, he is stubborn, but aren't we all? You have to put your relationship above this conviction of yours. You have to. If you don't, it will be clear to your partner that veganism matters more to you than your relationship, which you can do that if you want, you know, if that's where you're at, you do you. For me, my relationship with my husband matters more to me than my vegan conviction. Now, what did she really say that? Okay, another thing that was really helpful in making my husband vegan, you know, allowing him to come to this decision on his own over the past decade, is having like these really open, honest conversations, where we had to get to that point though, because there was a point where like I can't even say the word vegan. I couldn't say the word pork. You know, I couldn't say anything related to being vegan without it starting some sort of controversy or fight. And but that faded away as soon as I let go, and then we were able to have open conversations. So like when it did come up, I could talk about, you know, what I believe and where I come from without it causing tension, and he could talk about that, and I could just go, thank you for sharing. Lastly, I will say, it is really important to make good food. It just is. The food matters. We care about what our food tastes like. And if our food that we're serving our partners is not delicious, they're not gonna wanna eat it. So you're gonna have to make delicious food. Make delicious food, make food that they love. Put a lot of energy into dinner time, because generally like we're all, you know, joining, or whatever meal you're eating together. Put a lot of energy into that meal so that it tastes super delicious, and they look forward to it, and they can enjoy vegan food with you. Oh, sorry, my brain is fried from, you know, I have a 5-month-old now, and this first year is just no sleep, and that is what it is. I made a reel the other day, like, my new rule is like you can say I just had a baby for about a year because that's what it feels like. But going back to why Eric, suddenly wants to make this, proclamation that he's plant-based is that he said, yeah, you guys meaning like me and my family, because my family is all vegan now, like you guys just sort of influenced me, and I watched Game Changers and it made a lot of sense, and he's willing to make these choices like choosing plant-based foods over animal-based foods because of that influence. And I hope that can give you guys some sort of encouragement if you're in a relationship with someone who's not vegan and you're like, I tried the whole leave the book on the counter thing, like maybe they'll pick up this vegan book. Sorry, it doesn't work. At least in my household, that's not gonna work. Like, just be this like vibrant, beautiful example of veganism and enjoy your lifestyle, love it, enjoy the abundance. Don't try to push pamphlets on them. Just be this influence, be an example. You are probably influencing your non-vegan family members even more than you thought before. You never know what's going on inside someone internally and how they're receiving that influence. And I think if you do it with joy and love, it's just gonna go a long way rather than doing it with anger and judgment. All right, that's all for me. I'm sorry this video was so close and just my face, because if I back up here, it's like this. And I don't know what to do with this light. We have more fun videos coming out this month in October. I am going to do more style the house with me videos because I really enjoyed that and you guys seem to enjoy it too. Oh my gosh, there's a hair in here. Okay, that's all for me. I need to go grocery shopping and I'm gonna really try really hard not to spend $500 at the grocery store.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace, my favorite website building platform that takes you from A to Z in the website building process without ever hiring a designer. Connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated members-only content, manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights all on one easy-to-use platform. Create a community on your Squarespace website with a fully integrated commenting system, use their powerful blogging tools, and manage inventory. Squarespace is my preferred platform because it's incredibly easy to use, fully integrated, and the result is a beautiful website that you can call your own. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Hannah McNeely to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
I'm sorry, I don't even remember where this train of thought was going.